For the latest in strategic affairs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon for updates.
Good evening, I'm Surya Gangadharan, and this evening we are looking at the situation in the Maldives, where President Mohammad Muizzu is currently taking office. It's still not clear whether Prime Minister Modi will be going for the inauguration, although he's been invited. But for more on this, let's talk to Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha. He's had long experience of the Maldives. He's been a former Western Fleet commander. He's been to the Maldives. He knows some of the key people there and the developments there. Sir, welcome. Good to have you.
Thank you very much, Surya. Always a pleasure.
Sir, tell me frankly, we have Muizzu now there with apparently a very pro-China agenda. Is it all over for us for the next 5 years at least?
My sense is not really. Maybe I'm more optimistic than many think are. But I will tell you as we go along as to why I'm optimistic. But I would say that we will be facing a lot of headwind in everything that happens. So I'll put it in a very diplomatic, aviation-related word, that is headwind. So ground speed is going to slow down a little bit. So I think it's not all over, and but a little difficulty in everything.
Mm-hmm. So why is Muizzu pro-China? Is there some fear that India will absorb them, or what is your sense?
My sense is that an anti-India campaign is always present in all the Indian countries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You will see other countries as well. And therefore, you just require a little bit of
a little spark.
A little bit of instigation to, make it a full fire, and that is how he is sparked. Now, so anti-India, yes, by and large, maybe except for President Nasheed when he was president and Minister Soli. But here it emanates primarily from, as you know, that he was a coalition candidate. He is a coalition candidate between two parties. One is Yamin's party and one is Muizzu.
Yeah.
Muizzu was a minister in Yamin's camp, and therefore, the reputation is that he is more inclined to China than to India. And it's not all over. But as I said, there is headway. And he will, a well-educated man, genial trained in United Kingdom. So he understands the politics and the geopolitics. He will soon realize that how important it is to keep the ties with India, if not very strong the way it was, but keep it sufficiently strong to survive. Survive politically, because no matter how many people have India out campaign, but they also know that the daily life of a Maldivian citizen cannot move without India's support. As you know, the food, the vegetables, oil, gas, everything goes from India. Apart from the surveillance, maritime security. The main issue what the campaign was fought on India out is to move the Indian troops out of IL. Now, Indian troops, they are not fighting troops. They are the maintainers who maintain the two KLH helicopters and one Dormian. So you got about 76 of the DB cars, all aircraft maintainers, and about some 26 Coast Guard guys who maintain the Dormian, because they are the Coast Guard Dormian. And you have two HAL representatives, because both these aircraft are
HAL products. Yeah.
So they are coming back. Their presence does not really form the presence of the Indian military people. But it suits them as a slower, and they are Indian people in uniform. So, and as you would know that, they have done a very good job. all this will weigh upon his head quite a lot. So I think that, depending upon what is the case, what is the issue on which since it was an election campaign promise, possibly he will do that. But the Indian High Commissioner there has already met him. And after that, Muizzu seems to have brought down his, camper a little bit to say that I am talking with the Indian ambassador, High Commissioner, and we will work it out as to how it's going to. They've offered all help. So that means that, he probably realizes and second thing is that he may or may not accept everything that the Amir say. So that is also a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, is he his own man? That's the question here. And how dependent is he on Amir?
We will discuss the politics part of it when what's here.
So let's look at China. What does China want in the Maldives? Is it just to destabilize, stir the waters against India?
The short answer is yes. Because you have this string of pearls.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for China because China will ultimately like to have a military presence. If you see that.
Yeah.
And but we managed to save that. I don't know how much of that agreement with Sri Lanka going to stand fast. That there will be no military presence even in Hamad. And that is the reason they moved in their own Sri Lankan Navy into Hamad, but that's a different subject. But here the main aim is to surround India and keep India engaged in issues in and around, rather than allow India to
Look outside.
And, if China has to become a world leader, overtaking the United States of America, both economically and military, it has India to overcome. In Asia itself, this leadership is always under challenge by India. And therefore, you will find that, like this skirmish on the border, it will also happen in the ocean, already happening. See, Djibouti, they said, they will not have military in there were 3,000 by.
Yeah.
They were a base. Now, there is some talk in the east coast of Africa. It's going to.
Yeah.
Gwadar virtually belongs to them. Myanmar, Chapko port, as you know, is almost there. Though we also have a berth there, but the agreement with the Chinese is not much there. Bangladesh, I would say somewhere there, but if there is a government change in the election, nobody knows it's going to work. But there are Chinese maintainers who are maintaining the two submarines with the Bangladesh. So I would think that it is the larger scheme of things of the Sri Lankan, China, that keep India engaged in its neighborhood, so that India does not grow and become a challenge to them in their quest for leadership in Asia. That's my.
Do you expect the investment we've made in Maldives, say like in the radar chain that we have put up, do you think we will continue to get information from there, or you see that stopping?
The contracts are so written that it is very difficult to get out fully without a narrative. For example, even the Chinese projects, which were signed in President Yin's time, Soli could not stop.
Okay.
Going on, but at a slow pace. That's why I said headwind the ground speed. So similar thing may happen. But radar chain is already in place. We have Bell engineers to service it in. Taking them out, etc., will be difficult. But maybe that, the Chinese will have more access to the maritime domain awareness of Maldives. Or maybe, the proxy of China, which is Pakistan. They could get more access to all this. What it does is, it's a security concern for us. Presence of Pakistani ships or submarines, or the Chinese electronic systems, or radars, they all pose a challenge for us because we will be constantly under surveillance. And India's maneuvering space, with Navy particularly, that will shrink. It not be as free as it used to. So we have admin, but I'm sure the government is looking at it, the Navy is looking at it, and I'm sure they will find ways to sustain the relationship, if not at the same level, but not also to the level where it becomes a security concern. That I would think the government will not allow that.
Do the Chinese have any naval presence, or do they have facilities there in the Maldives and any of the islands?
President Rashid, former president, he made a statement when he was Speaker of the Majlis. And he said that Yemen has let out some 17, 18 islands on a long-term lease, in which a lot of construction work is going on. Not known that there is any military presence, but the Chinese people with construction engineers activities are very much there. But in this time frame, if they permit the Chinese to put some surveillance radars, particularly in the northern islands, then they will probably have to put... in any case, in Chinese, wherever they go for construction workers, etc., they are all... majority of them are PLA people in civilian. So, will it become a military threat? Not in the very quick sort of time frame, because geopolitics is altering every day. You don't know how it is going to turn out, how long Muizzu is going to last, or is there any other method of seeing that it doesn't go away?
Do we have a role in maritime patrolling of the Maldives waters, territorial waters? Does it also stop?
No, we don't go to any country's territory. But we have an agreement of joint EZ patrol. And their Dornier and the ALS on a limited way, they also do patrolling. And we have a joint patrol mechanism in which our aircraft goes and lands there. It takes their crew, their officers, etc., and they do the maritime. Because as you know, the northern islands, particularly an island called Animagan, that is pretty close to Minikor.
I see.
69 or 710 nautical miles. So that Hanimadu and Minikor, they cannot exercise their full EZ because of the distance is not being 200. So we have a midway point as per the UNCLOS. So therefore the patrolling there, EZ forms it right there, find the body, which is 70 kilometers from each other. Pretty close. If you have a fast boat, in 5 hours it should be there. So that is they may reduce it. They may say we will review it. Stop doing patrolling, etc. So they may do it. But I think even the president will be told. But the point is that the parliament, it doesn't have the majority. Parliament, Soli's party. So there are few things which, as per the constitution, requires a parliamentary approval. Till about March, when the election takes place, it is really tough for him to promulgate something to break any contract, do all that. But what he has promised as an election promise, get the Indian troops out, he might. I would think we should be ready for this. And I'm sure the Navy or the government of India, that all. Plus, we're already working. It's quite a big thing to happen. That for 5 years, we lose control of a political system. It's a big thing to... The impact will be on many things.
Do you see any pushback from the Maldivian military? Because they have a stake in this.
Unlikely pushback, but yes, possibly they will change the CDS. And they will change the CDS and get somebody who's more amenable to the government advice. For example, when Yemen was in power and election was going on, he wanted to engage the military to overturn the Supreme Court judgment. Well, Supreme Court.
I recall.
And the CDS fought. He said, we are protectors of the Constitution. And Supreme Court is the Constitution. It made a real statement. So if the CDS, new CDS, I guess so, The UCDS takes that stand that does not allow the constitution to be, tempered with a tempered way, and it is okay. That is what the military is supposed to do. But we actually have to wait and see.
So why did this happen? Did we take our eye off the ball? I mean,
I'm not. I don't know, but it looks like that. We have possibly. We were very confident that Soli will come back. Pardon me. We didn't think that this India out campaign, because Yamin was in jail. He's now been put to some house arrest. And this guy is Yamin's man. So, because Yamin could not fight himself, we didn't realize that, possibly we didn't realize that, he will have so much public support. And that is why this India out campaign, because that appeals the voters. It appeals the voters that he's fighting on India out campaign.
So this resentment has been building up in the public for some time.
Surya, if you see this geopolitics of any region in the world, hedging between two powers is a very norm by a smaller country which is sandwiched between two big powers. We look at all our neighbors, we find that they always have this day. And you say that, okay, if the ruling party is getting too close, it appears they're getting too close to India, and next time that becomes a slogan, that party we use. Everywhere you can see in any country. Okay, Myanmar is a military rule, but you would, by and large, this is a long in international relations, if you like, that because they have to be dependent on somebody, and India is a too big a country, and economy can actually, support everybody. So they get a sense that, everything India. So their own self-esteem tends to run down. And that is why, it appeals to them if some political party says no idea. And it is immediately after somebody who was, India was the first choice, declared policy first. So I think that, these are all politics and human behavior very difficult to. You don't accept that, yes, so-and-so is a friend and so-and-so can do this to me. Because dependence on anybody is dangerous.
We know it better,
So it's not that if the Chinese go whole off. And this is what the new president, possibly President Muizzu, will have to realize this. That you cannot have India out completely, because day to day living the same voters will vote against him in the next election if he lasts for that long. So I would think that this is a very common human behavior, particularly in the smaller countries, who always feel that they are out of the maze.
Is it, there's a lot of talk about radicalization in the Maldives, and they sent a lot of people to the ISIS not many years ago. Is that also an issue?
It's a big issue. I'm glad you asked this question. The Salafi movement is been on the rise. And my fear is that, it might rise even further. Though the new incumbent is not known to be inclined to religious things. But not to forget his own father-in-law. Many years ago, he was arrested because he brought the Salafi preachers into the island.
Mr. Gayoom?
No, his father.
His father.
This guy's father. So he was jailed actually. So there is some background, and Salafi movement in the mosques, through the mosque, has been on the increase. And the Saudi Salafi movement is funding all this. Not from Islam, but from the mosques. So, we have to look at this very, very carefully. And secondly, we have, as I mentioned, that, our islands are not very far. They are reach in by boats in, fast boat in 4 or 5 hours. So, and if all islands are not on the guard all the time, and as you know, the population. 100%. So, there is a possibility, but I'm sure the government is quite aware of this issue and the measures which are supposed to be taken as being placed now, or maybe it is being taken place. But there is a big issue, particularly with the new government. Soli didn't support, but of course they had a Minister of Religious Affairs who used to deal with it and try to not allow this to spread. How will that play out? This is another the realm of possibilities, but
And presumably that's where the Pakistanis will come in.
true. But Pakistan is also a possibility that, if our aircraft are finally compelled to leave at particular time, there's a possibility that the Chinese, they may use a proxy Pakistani to take on those tasks, which is again a security concern for us. If you recall, when Yamin had become the president, the first guy to visit him was the chief of army staff of Pakistan.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was he doing? In fact, they were almost at agreement for the Pakistan. He made a statement, we send our ships for you, exact patrol. Fortunately, we need to ask the So, the possibility is always there because Pakistan is in doldrums. You see the economy.
Yeah.
We may not have enough. Chinese might say, okay, we pay you so much money. But China always wants to win a war without fighting.
Yeah.
Scary. So they will use all the proxies. They will use this Pakistan proxy. And there is a great possibility of number one. And secondly, this when the Salafi movement, the preachers can, very much penetrate. We have to be extremely cautious and freeze the servings on all the 26 or 36 ayahs that we have, 100%. Because then we cannot have any unattended vote coming in and landing these preachers. And when you have religious sort of affinity, if you like. So we have to then can.
So last question. We do have some cards to play, isn't it? In fact, we have quite a few cards to play to ensure that things don't get out of hand.
One is their own internal stuff. Internal stuff is that Mr. Nasheed, the former president, former speaker, now he has broken off from Mr. Sinha or formed his own party. He got some 20-30 so something. Now he has been suggesting that, from a presidential system, they should go to
Prime Ministerial
parliamentary system of governance. If that happens, he can't do it on his own. Now he will wait for the next parliamentary election and see what happens. If he raises the pitch and it appeals to the people, then he might get more number of seats. And now there will be a sort of difference of opinion with President Yamin.
Yeah.
Because he won't like that to happen. And if he won't like this to happen, then Mr. Muizzu, it's a different party.
Yeah.
He may see a future in this. So that party might just break off from Yamin.
And join up with
Join hands with Nasheed. And Mr. Soli's party. Then you're talking about the parliamentary system in which Mr. Nasheed has a possibility of becoming a prime minister, an executive head of it. And Muizzu might be his deputy or something like that. Might happen. This is again my very wild guess.
Yeah.
If that happens, that should start playing out after next year's election.
After March.
Yeah. The parliamentary election and, vote taking several. So we have to watch this very carefully. And how does the election campaign go? But if you look at politically, it will be good for India.
Yeah.
At least we don't have headwind for, women are headwind for 5 years.
Yeah.
Because all said and done, Nasheed is real. He was also getting close to China towards the
Yeah.
But then he fell off. And his government fell off and all that happened. So we have somebody who believes that, geopolitically it is beneficial for Maldives to be friends with the neighboring country, China. So that is one handle. And, internal handles are there. Let's see how it but it is all basically political sort of very how much we want to talk more. and how diplomatically we can manage this entire. But we'll have to pay attention, which was not required in last time.
So clearly some choppy waters ahead, but hopefully if we headwinds, only if we keep our head and play our cards carefully.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Admiral, pleasure talking to you as always. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do follow us on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, in fact, and do follow us on social media. Thank you. Good night.